but I appreciate Western Academy of Beijing giving me the opportunity. I do work here in Beijing for many years now, and China has really been an inspiration for what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm going to be talking really about the transformation that education is making and how learning is changing. So I'll first start off by talking about what our past generations have done for us and just what changes have been made economically. And I'll be finishing off talking about how we can all collectively call to action to help transform economic equality for all. So past generations, starting from the railroad, have really been inspirational, but also very important things that have taken place that have caused economic improvements. Whether you're talking about in China, in Africa, in the US, they've been means to transport items for economic reasons. In the US, we came up with the Wright brothers, and the Wright brothers created the first flight vehicle. And that was how we travel every day now. It's normal for us, but back many hundreds of years ago, there was not a very easy way to travel from one location to another. So economically, that has also transformed us. There we go, transforming the world, and we do it every day now by airplanes. And then NASA came out with the space shuttle. It started off not as a space shuttle, but as a space race between the old Soviet Union and the United States. And with the space shuttle, what it did was it transformed people's thinking and the possibilities that may exist. And children, it really inspired children. It inspired them to become engineers, become doctors, become scientists, become technicians, become anything they really wanted to be. And that's what we really need. And in the US, we saw an economic boom as a result of this. Since the 70s and 80s, when the space shuttle was flying in space, economic boom had occurred. And as NASA's program slowly softened because of budget cuts, the economic boom slowly declined. It's a direct effect of what we see as a model of inspiration. And what the space shuttle does, it also helps children think about, I can be an astronaut. Absolutely they can. In the program I'm developing, we have been doing work with folks related to NASA and related to the space program. And space exploration is a great theme that crosses the borders, whether you're in China, in the US, in Europe, in South America. It doesn't matter. Everybody has a passion to dream. And what better reason to give children the reason to dream? That they can be anything they want to be. They could be an astronaut one day. Absolutely. So the way you start off is getting programs into your schools. And what Western Academy of Beijing, they've done something fantastic here, and that's opened the eyes to the children about ways they can imagine. Here, I've been working with a group called Traveling Space Museum in the US who are affiliated with NASA. And they've been developing programs that they bring in imagination into the classroom, whether it's flight simulators, or it's learn to be an astronaut for a day and what it feels to be an astronaut, or even use the space toilet and understand how lasers can work together for an astronaut to go to the bathroom in the space shuttle. I mean, it might sound funny, but it really is a scientific approach going to the bathroom in space. So you really, really have to apply science and technology and innovation just to do the basics. And where better else but started in the classroom. So what has been happening in the class today? Well, I will do a shout out to my hometown, Chicago. Kids out there in high school have been standing out for their teachers, for the classrooms, because of the cost cutting that has occurred. It's occurring everywhere. They think that because they can cut classes, they can save money. It's the children that are the afterthought here. So that's why we need to encourage children through learning, through fun, through communication, to empower them. And so what I've been working on is a platform that we bring education to the masses, bring quality education at no cost to children everywhere. And you can leverage technology, and we use the model of storytelling. What better way to tell and teach children about different subjects, about what they want to be, but through storytelling. We do it as parents, right? So we teach them what has worked for us. And we teach children, hey, you should think about it this way. How to solve problems, do it through storytelling. So what we've done is we leverage what space exploration has done, created a set of characters, applied passions of, hey, I want to be an astronaut one day, or I want to be a scientist, or I want to be something that I feel passionate about. And we tell them through stories, and they can learn. In the case of first or second grade, teachers are empowered to take their lessons, integrate them to a fun platform, and they can teach children about what they learn every day. In this case, they can learn about suffixes. They learn language arts. They can learn math. They can learn programming. As President Obama says, each and every child in the U.S. at least should learn some degree of programming. It helps the creativity in their mind. So what we've done is we've taken that, implemented what teachers are teaching in the classroom, and offered it a way for kids can have fun in learning, but also learn about what they're learning about education. Thus the teacher becomes like a coach, a counselor, a mentor to a student. And then tests. What do people think about tests, right? But the way to properly assess, in my eyes, children is how are they actually performing to what they're learning? So they can learn in that same subject we just taught about, suffixes, they can match words. They can go to a Promethean board, a whiteboard, a smart board, and actually click on it and say, hey, I know that word. I want to match that. It's fun. Once they do this, they also get scored. It becomes a game, but they can also keep going back as many times as they want, testing what they learned. And what that does is it provides measurability. Teachers often are concerned that they're not able to obtain measurability. Well, in this case, children sometimes don't learn at the same pace. This provides a measure of measurability. There are tools like this that can offer a way, as they learn, they can be measurable. So the kids get a score, teachers and parents get a report card and a dashboard. Bam, reporting and measurability. They know exactly how they're doing. So teaching subjects is one thing, but what storytelling also offers is a way to teach and improve children's lives. Whether it's teaching them about nutrition, proper eating habits, obesity, any specific subject. Well, you can be in a beautiful place like Beijing or in Chicago, Los Angeles, wherever you may be, or you may be in the villages. We've been talking to nonprofits here in India and in China about ways that not only can they be a better farmer, but they can also educate their children at the same time. So transforming education not only means but transforming the children's lives, but also it can impact the parents' lives as well. And that's one way to show economic equality. So one of the calls to action I have is we've been working with universities, high schools, and middle school, elementary schools to open them up as education incubators. So developing programs so that more and more children can get access to them. More, so as a secondary tool, fine, but it's also it adds to the fabric of the school and the education model because everybody, more and more people are getting access to technology. And lastly, in this case, mentors are very important. Having access to people that you can ask questions. Find out how they got there. Listen to their stories. That really is very empowering. And when we go out in the field, go to schools, go to universities, or even go in the field, we bring mentors with us. We act as mentors as well. We teach them what's worked, what does not work, generate ideas, and generate thoughts, and inspire them. Whether you want to be an astronaut, or a doctor, or a ballet dancer, or a technician. And what that does is, it brings education to all levels of the pyramid. We often forget about the folks at the bottom of the pyramid. But why? I can say I'm lucky enough to be in China because I've lived in the villages, I've lived in the countryside, I've lived in the city, and it's been a privilege to see and be part of the society at all levels. And there's no reason that anybody should be left behind. So this is a village in the middle part of China where they're leveraging tablets provided by a nonprofit, part of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and leveraging technology as a means to do basic language arts. And this is all in English. They've just gotten introduced to the concept, but children they're very bright, and they get immersed into it, and you can just immediately see differences. And so what I ask is, just and when you work with your children, and just find ways you can tell stories, because you'd be amazed at how they learn and listen, and just the results you can see out of that. So you can see amazing talents come out of them. So I really appreciate your time, and hopefully I was able to communicate some very important concepts to you. And thank you very much for your time.
Now, at the end of the talk, the fridge is open to the snacks. Please enjoy the snacks outside and link there.